and welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World. I'm, of course, joined by my co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins, from the Daily Blitz.blog, Mr. Christian Simpson. Welcome into the show, everybody. We're going to be breaking down week number 16 of the NFL so far. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast as we are on YouTube, we are on Twitter, and we are on Twitch today. So continue to check us out. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you'd like to join us, I've shared the StreamYard link into all of the places. Happy Monday, gentlemen. Happy Monday after Christmas. You know, I'm still sporting my holiday spirit with my hat here. I actually haven't even opened my Christmas presents yet. So, Merry Christmas, guys. How are you?
I'm good.
TJ?
Why haven't you opened your presents yet?
I don't know. I was busy yesterday. I'm going to open them today.
Why haven't you opened your presents yet?
I was busy yesterday. I had a lot of stuff to do to cook for dinner and stuff. So I'll open them when I got back home. I will open them today. Anyways, let's get into week number 16. Takeaways before we get into the games themselves. Oh, okay. So you got some bad lag going on. Well, let's get into it. Let's talk about Thursday Night Football. First, we had the Jacksonville Jaguars and New York Jets. As Jacksonville won that game 19-3. As this could represent the beginning of the end for Zach Wilson's tenure in New York. Trevor Lawrence efficient here, 20 of 31, 229, no touchdowns, no picks. He did have a rushing touchdown in this game. Another slog of an NFL game, which were a bunch of them this weekend. Just really not that entertaining of football. Just possession game, really defensive-minded football. What you guys' takeaway? So Zach Wilson really struggled, 9 of 18, 92 yards and a pick. As his offensive line really didn't give him a lot of time to operate.
I ended up going to this one, David, and man, I left probably before the fourth quarter because it was that much of a snooze fest, and I didn't want to get caught in traffic. But one thing I just noticed was the Jets defense. They play with a lot of intensity. They're physical. They'll get to the point of attack, but it was their offense that let them down every single time. Zach's lost confidence. I mean, I don't think there's another way to put it. And yeah, I have read that they are probably going to part ways with him after the season. Here's what I would do if I were the Jets. I bring back Mike White for one more year because this team seems to respond to him a little bit better than they do Zach Wilson, and then go for your future quarterback in the next draft.
If I'm not, I'm trading for Gardner Minshew.
Or that. That's not bad.
I don't think he'd be that expensive to get, like trade compensation wise. But yeah, watching Zach Wilson is rough. They don't even seem to call like the same game plan for him. Like he's athletic, he can run, he can do stuff with his legs. Like it doesn't even seem like it feels like.
Y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It just seems on the offensive end like there's no confidence with him on either side of this football. They just seem to call totally. I think the coaching staff's lost confidence, and he's lost confidence in himself.
Yeah, definitely.
TJ?
Hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, you're breaking up. You're breaking up a little bit, though.
Okay.
All right, Chris, me and you are just going to have to roll for here for a little bit as TJ tries to figure out his connection issues. So let's talk. So, I don't know what the Jaguars. Another good win for them as they are now the number one seed in the AFC South. They have jumped the Tennessee Titans, who lost this weekend. We'll get to them in here in a few minutes. But yeah, good win for them.
Definitely.
That's all you got?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else to really say. I mean, look, whoever would have thought that the Jaguars would be in this position right now, considering everything they went through last year. I mean, it's amazing the difference a year can make and coaching can make as a whole. Now, like I've been saying all year to you, David, I see guys that want to play for the coach. You didn't see that for Urban Meyer.
Yeah, I think the turnaround for Jacksonville has been one of those nights, and the turnaround for Trevor Lawrence too. I mean, a lot of people were really hot, like really down on him after his pretty pretty pedestrian rookie season, but he's definitely bounced back in a big way in year number 2. Good win for them. And yeah, the Jets, I don't know what you do from here. I wouldn't add another young quarterback to this situation. I would probably, even Caleb Williams is coming out next season. I'd probably wait till next year and trade for Gardner Minshew, see what happens with your offense then.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about USC quarterbacks in the NFL, it's almost like Ohio State quarterbacks.
I mean, Carson Palmer was real good. Don't you be disrespectful?
But Carson Palmer was injury prone, so don't give me that crap.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, TJ, you're still breaking up pretty bad.
Can y'all hear me now?
I can hear you now. TJ's obviously having some connection issues. I don't know what the weather is like over there in DeKalb. But moving on from this game, let's talk about first game on Saturday. As the NFL played majority of their games on Saturday night or Saturday afternoon into the night. First, Buffalo Bills 35-13 over the Chicago Bears. This game was interesting at halftime, and then after halftime, it got very less interesting. Josh Allen 15-26, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Devin Singletary, James Cook, and Josh Allen all had rushing touchdowns, and Gabe Davis and Austin Knox had receiving touchdowns. On the Bears side of this, Justin Fields 15-23, a touchdown. Nathan Peterman came in and threw a pick. David Montgomery, 16-62. Velus Jones Jr., a really nice game for him here. Dante Pettis had the lone receiving touchdown for the Chicago Bears.
I was telling TJ during this game that I thought Buffalo was looking ahead a little too much. When teams have a tendency to do that, they know arguably their biggest game of the year is next week against Cincinnati.
Without a doubt, I think they were for sure looking past. This team's like, oh, we can beat the Bears just by showing up. But in the first half, things got interesting, and then Buffalo's second half, they're like, yeah, let's take care of these guys.
Yeah, but Izzy and I always call them out for this, and it seemed like they finally did it, and they listened to us. They got Devin Singletary going. They got James Cook going. Josh Allen kind of controlled things, but I didn't like the way Josh played. He was a little too careless with the ball for me, and it seemed like
that Jake Cutler mentality. It's like, oh, I got the strongest arm in the world. I can fit this into anywhere, and it burnt him a couple times in this game.
Yeah, it did. It definitely caught up with him. But I will say this though, the Bears, every time they forced a turnover, they couldn't do anything with it. That's when they beat themselves. And then that's when Buffalo was able to push away and really take control of the football game. David.
Welcome into the show, CEO of Prime Sports World, Mr. Israel Rivera. TJ,
what's going on?
TJ, how's that connection doing over there?
Can y'all hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Damn. Pissed me off. All right, anyway, because I couldn't get no analysis on the first game, the Jets, it may be time to look the other way on Zach Wilson. Like in all sense, like it's tough to be a rookie. It's tough to be a rookie quarterback in 3 cities: New York, Chicago, and LA. I would not want to be a rookie quarterback in any one of those 3 cities because those are the most powerful media markets in this country. That's Trevor Lawrence, way to turn it around. David, you kind of hit the nail on the head. Like, he's come a long way from whatever that was his rookie season. Buffalo and Chicago, like, I don't know what Luke Getsy saw. Like, I don't know what that play calling was in the second half. That was atrocious. That was god-awful. You subjected one of the most electrifying quarterbacks in this league to run, pass. You had 12 negative plays yesterday or Saturday. You had 12 negative plays. 6 of them had to be a weak-ass toss to the left or to the right where they had no non-penetration whatsoever.
They were mailing it in. They were mailing it in, TJ.
Like, that was god-awful. I don't know what that – You hit Velus Jones on a 50-yard bomb, and you follow it up with run, pass. What was that? Like, I ain't trying to hear I ain't trying to hear nothing. That's the offense that we had. Like, no, because after the 5th or 6th time that you see that little toss play ain't working, why are you still calling it? You like, and this is a Buffalo team. They're not a run heavy team. You gave up 200 yards rushing to two people.
Mailing it in. They're mailing it in. Mailing it in.
They're starting two starting running backs average damn near 90 yards a carry in this game.
Like come on, bro. Like I'm more pissed off at the offensive play calling than anything. Like I understand it was windy. I understand all of that. I really, really do. But at no point in time, like how he called that game yesterday is how he literally called the first three games of the season. Where it was run, pass, an explosive play here, an explosive play there, right to run, pass. That was like, for what it's worth, we got 3 turnovers from the Buffalo Bills. We turned them over 3 times. We got 3 points off of 3 turnovers. That is like, no. I ain't trying to hear none of that. Oh, they mailing it in. No.
That's why they top 3 pick. That's why they getting that top 3 pick, TJ. So they getting their top 3 pick, and they got all that money. They going into next year fixing a myriad of problems.
Izzy, they would have lost yesterday anyway had they played better than what they did. Don't do that at this stage of the season. We see what this offense can be. Don't revert back to week 2 of the season where it was run, pass, and we like, damn, is Justin Fields the guy? We know he's the guy. Don't do whatever that was. Don't do that. That was terrible. You called a better game against the Eagles than you did the Buffalo Bills. And the Eagles are a way more Super Bowl threat than the Buffalo Bills, especially how they've been looking lately. Like, come on, man! Like it was literally a tale of two weeks. It moved the ball pretty well against the Eagles, and you go up against Buffalo, and it's like, damn, man, I don't know what we can do.
Is he?
I agree with TJ. The play calling in the second half was it wasn't aggressive at all. But I just think that they were just like, hey, I don't know, we're gonna try something new. Didn't they get they had Khalil Herbert back in the fold, right?
They did.
He came back.
They did, yeah. So I think trying to get him some more touches, I guess, in the office, so to speak. But I don't understand what they do after that big Velus Jones play. To TJ's, to what TJ said, that was just not aggressive play calling there in the red zone. And then in terms of the Jets, yeah, you're right. Zach Wilson, yeah, he's done. Like you're cooked. They need to move on, and I don't know. I don't know what Zach Wilson's going to do. He's going to be a nice, young, fine man, but he's going to have to mature a little bit to be able to be a starting quarterback in this league.
100%. And moving on to the Saturday afternoon, kind of boring games. We got the New Orleans Saints going into Cleveland and pulling out the 17-10 victory. Andy Dalton, 8-15, 92 yards and a pick. Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill both had rushing touchdowns. On the other side, Deshaun Watson, 15-31, 135 and a pick. Deshaun Watson had the lone rushing touchdown for the Cleveland Browns. Amari Cooper, leading receiver for the team for Cleveland, as New Orleans won 17-10.
Ain't nobody care. Don't nobody care about this game.
Really didn't.
Don't nobody care.
Really didn't. Didn't care at all.
I cared. I had Alvin Kamara on my fantasy team, but
TJ.
That's about it. That's about it. That's the only reason I. Also, look, the Saints. I mean, the Saints won. This is kind of big in the NFC South picture.
Especially since nobody wants to win the NFC South.
Yeah, right. And so the Saints won. The Bucks barely won, as we'll get to that. So I mean, it's coming down to a two team race, in my opinion, between those two teams. Well, yeah, with Carolina as well.
Yeah.
Again,
I don't have a lot to say about this game. I mean, Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson didn't play particularly well in this game, and the results are on the proof.
Man, he's super rusty. That's all. I mean, let's start next season fresh.
Yeah, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to the next game, we got the Seattle Seahawks going into Arrowhead and losing 24-10 to the Kansas City Chiefs. Geno Smith, another up and down game for him, 25 of 40, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Kenneth Walker, over 100 yards rushing for him. DK Metcalf, 81 yards receiving. Patrick Mahomes, 16 of 28, 2 touchdowns. He also had that ridiculous rushing touchdown. If you have not seen it, it's worth a watch. Travis Kelce, leading receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs. Jerick McKinnon and Kadarius Toney receiving touchdowns for Kansas City. And 58 yards for Isaiah Pacheco, who's rounding out a very nice rookie season.
Yeah, he is. I like the added element of balance he brings to this offense because he's downhill, low center of gravity, tough to bring down in space, and he can run that ball in between the tackles. He's not trying to bounce outside. He wants to run up the middle. He wants to absorb contact. No, this is a nice win for Kansas City after especially the last 2 games that they played prior to this one because you let Denver hang around too much. You needed overtime to beat to beat Houston last week, and they put Seattle away pretty early, and the Seahawks could just never really climb back into the game. So this is a good win for them. This is a game they knew they needed to take care of business in.
TJ.
It was not a good game for Geno Smith, who had just got named to the Pro Bowl for the first time in his career. And that was a hell of a way to validate that vote of confidence, bro. Like, that was great. Like, you made I'm so like you made a defense that normally struggles, right? Like this Kansas City secondary is not something to be like, damn man, I got to go up against them this week. No, they are not that. And 25 of 40 for 215 yards with 1 touchdown and 1 pick with DK Metcalf as your number 1. I don't know what happened to Tyler Lockett, but I think he's hurt.
Yeah, he's hurt.
He broke something in his hand.
Marquise Goodwin was kind of in the game there. They weren't really getting it.
Marquise Goodwin got hurt in this game too and never returned.
Yeah. So and in the time frame that he played, he had 4 targets and no catches.
Yeah, he gave me 0. He gave me 0. Okay. He was one of the other reasons the guy, Hey, look. I don't like the fact that Seattle is, they still are in the playoff picture. I don't like the fact that they're kind of like struggling down the stretch here.
I think this Seattle Seahawks team was way overkicking their coverage for the majority of the season. This is who they are. Like
they're definitely coming down to earth. I mean, if they make the playoffs, they only got to win 2 out of these last 2 games, pretty much, right? Yeah. To give themselves a shot. Yeah, I didn't expect them to win in Kansas City. I don't understand what they were doing with their shirts off before the game. I don't know if you guys understand. Well, do you understand what they were doing?
It was cold. It was cold, so they were showing how much of a man they were by not wearing a shirt in the cold.
Yeah, and then got y'all tails shellacked off the stadium.
So first off, that has nothing to do with proving how much of a man you are in the cold. That's called getting used to the cold.
Whatever, man.
That's what that is. Like, it's not whatever. Like that's why do you think most players when they play cold games they don't wear sleeves? They don't wear Under Armour. It ain't got nothing to do with he's tough.
I think it was for sure that was some of it was that noise. Like they're like, we're gonna show we're not wearing our shirt. Like, come on.
Yeah, anyways, tactic didn't.
So it's the same thing with David and Joe. I ain't hear nothing about David and Joku out there with no shirt on meditating. Like I ain't hear none of that. So like, where was that at? So if y'all gonna say it, keep it for everybody. Keep the same energy. It ain't got nothing to do with proof. Like, I'm a man. Like, no, it's them getting used to the cold. That's
All
all.
right.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's literally it.
Moving on to the next game, we got the Minnesota Vikings winning another game at the Horn as they have just become the cardiac Vikings, 27-24. As Greg Joseph kicks a 61-yard field goal to win the game. Daniel Jones, 30 of 42, 334, one touchdown, one pick. Saquon Barkley, another good game for him here as he's really bounced back this season. 1484 and a touchdown. Isaiah Hodgins had the lone receiving touchdown for the New York Football Giants. Christian Simpson's New York Football Giants. And then Kirk Cousins, another solid game here for him. 34-48, 299 yards, 3 touchdowns. Dalvin Cook led them in rushing. Justin Jefferson, TJ Hockenson all had receiving touchdowns in this game. TJ Hockenson had 2. If you haven't seen the other TJ Hockenson, the one where he's like bobbling it and catching it as he's falling, it is a nice play.
Yeah, that was the best pass I think I've seen all day because Kirk placed it in the window only to where TJ could get it. There was really nothing to review. He maintained possession of it as he was going down. Yeah, Minnesota, they're 11-0 in games that are decided by one possession or less.
Mm-hmm.
You guys realize that?
Yeah, I do.
Talk about having a team on the edge. Talk about having a team having you on the edge of their seat. You know, they've been doing this all year long. They're 12-3, got a huge game coming up next week. This is a tough loss for the Giants, but all they can do is regroup. They got a scrimmage this upcoming weekend against the Colts. So,
Scrimmage.
Yeah. What?
Not just because he's talking God, but watching lose.
Hey, TJ.
Oh man.
Nah. That's why his team is 3-12.
Whatever. Hey, look, I'm gonna start calling TJ Hawkins. TJ, let me get that Hawkinson, because that was a hell of a play there in the end zone.
I think
let me get that.
I think he has to make more plays like that before he gets a nickname. That's just me.
I'll give you that, TJ. You know, but anyways, yes, that was strong. Yeah.
I still remember Christian saying one of his big issues with the Vikings is that they don't put teams away and all that other stuff. And I'm like, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because when you get to the playoffs, the one thing you're not going to have that you rarely have is a blowout game. It's rare that you get to the playoffs and you just flat out blow the other team out the water.
Okay, I'll meet you. All right, TJ, sorry to interrupt you, but okay. I'll meet you halfway with that, because you can't always think, one issue that the Vikings have is they also, they get off to slow starts and they've been able to climb their way back into games. That's not going to always be the case. I mean, look at what happened to them when they played Dallas a couple weeks ago. They got into such a deep hole they could never.
And then and then you asked that question about Dallas. Like, so you got to ask, like, all right, what kind of team are you? Are you the team that blew the Vikings out, or are you this other version of this team? And lo and behold, they're the other version of that team. All right, but nonetheless, I want my team to be battle. I'd rather my team be 9-1 in close games versus what they were last year. They were like 1-8 in close games. All right, like this, they completely flipped the script, and it's the same team. It's literally the same team.
Right.
It's the same team. Like minus TJ Hockenson, it's the same team. So they have a bunch of close games here. 34-26 to the Cardinals, 20-17 to the Commanders, 33-30 to Buffalo.
You want to know something, guys? You want to know something? Next week, I'm gonna say this: in 12 games, decided by one score or less, the Vikings will be 11-1. Just letting you guys know that.
He talking.
You guys are about to get chased out of the. You guys are about to get chased out of the stadium.
He's talking big and brave. He's talking big and brave.
Yes, sir.
But anyways, this is a big win for Minnesota because it keeps them in the hunt for the number 1 seed in the NFC. We don't really know how long Jalen Hurts is going to be out, but Minnesota now has the window kind of open for them to get the number 1 seed. They went out, and Philadelphia stumbles here anywhere down the stretch.
And shout out to Justin Jefferson for breaking Randy Moss's franchise record. He ain't just break it; he blew that mug out the water.
Man, he's chasing that Megatron record too. Like he's only like 200 away.
240. I think he got to average like 120 something. Yeah, it's very doable. They're gonna feed him the ball.
The one thing I will,
Like,
the one thing I will need the Vikings to do is I am going to need that run game to get back on track. Like Dalvin Cook should be getting the ball 15 to 20 times. He averaged 4.6 a carry, bro. You can give him the ball another 6, 7 times on top of the 14 that you get that he ran the ball. So he had 17 total touches because he ran the ball 14 times. And he caught 3 passes. Get him that, yeah. I need more than 83 yards rushing from the Minnesota Vikings. Other than that, like, because I don't want Kirk Cousins to throw the ball 48 times. Like his saving grace is he ain't turned the ball over. He ain't got no pick
or fumbles.
or fumbles. So like usually the more times Kirk Cousins throw the ball, the more times that's he gonna give you one. Kirk Cousins will give you one.
Moving on from this game, let's talk about the AFC a little bit as we got the Cincinnati Bengals going into Foxborough and trying to give this game away, but then ended up closing the door there at the end, 22-18 as Cincinnati wins this game. Joe Burrow, kind of an up and down game for Joe Burrow, 4 of 52, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Joe Mixon leading rusher, T. Higgins and Trent Irwin had 2 touchdowns in this game. Mac Jones, decent in this game, but not particularly great. 21 of 33, 240, 2 touchdowns. They basically didn't even try to run the ball. Kendrick Bourne had their best run for 29 yards. He also led them in receiving yards. Him and Jacoby Myers also had touchdowns. Jacoby Myers touchdown. It's really nice.
Hey,
the Hail Mary.
I don't give a damn about this game. I really don't. Mac Jones, your name is in NFL circles for all the wrong reasons. You're starting to get labeled as a dirty player.
Yeah.
Because that. I understand you want to show effort on the interception by trying to chase the guy down, but you weren't even close, and you respond to that by going low on another defender that had absolutely nothing to do with that play. You are starting to get you are labeled as a dirty player, and the first chance a defender get, they gonna rock your world, my man. You better, I'm so serious. You better knock it off. Knock it off. It's seriously.
I mean, other than that, no, New England was in this game all the way up until the Ramondre Stevenson fumble. There.
Well, that's because Cincinnati tried to give this game away. Cincinnati tried to give this game away.
That too, a little bit. I was not impressed with Cincinnati's offense. Sometimes I do feel like when they're up, they do need to run the football a little bit more. I honestly don't think that they can. They don't have like a power running game. In my opinion,
Leo Collins got hurt in this game. Probably will miss the remainder of the season. I think he may come back in the playoffs. Obviously they're going to make the playoffs, but Leo Collins done for the year.
How good is this Patriots defense? I thought they were dead in the water. Going into the second half, I didn't think that this team had. And this defense is just really good. They give you a lot of chances.
I understand Joey B. I understand that man cold, but I don't want you to throw the ball 52 times, bro. I want your arm to be attached to your body so you can use it next week, right? I need more than 24 rush attempts as a team, and I don't want Joe Burrow to run the ball at all. Joe Burrow and Samaje Pittman should not have the same amount of rush attempts. That's
true.
That's just what it is.
I don't like that. And I'm like I said, that defense, man. Started with Marcus Jones, big interception. I just think, man, if they, just tweak the offense just a little bit, maybe. I don't even want to.
The problem is that they don't really have the weapons on the outside.
It's David. It's not even that. It's not even the weapons. Who's the coordinator?
That's true.
I know, but if they had weapons on the outside that even made you scare them a little bit,
David, that's not the point. It don't matter. You don't even have an offensive coordinator. You don't even
there's no direction.
Their quarterback coach is a special teams coach, and their offensive coordinator is a defensive guy.
For all the flack I gave Luke Getsy for this play calling against the Buffalo Bills, at least he can say, hey, even with my lack of weapons, I have put up 30 points multiple times this season with that in my receiving room. We got Matt Patricia and Joe Judge and Mac Jones visibly regressed and frustrated, saying this effing sucks. It doesn't work. He's caught multiple times on the hot mic on camera saying this effing sucks. Right? So it's like, and all I gotta say is you gotta point the finger at Bill Belichick. It's like, dude, we understand. Like, you will go down as the greatest coach in NFL history, but at some point in time, you gotta get out of your own way. The fact that Bill O'Brien, like the fact that his name is circling the block again as, oh, we could potentially hire Bill O'Brien back as offensive coordinator. Why did he do that in the first place?
It's true. I mean, he is a good offensive mind. I mean,
right, but like, what?
As long as you don't let him be the GM.
Like, what did I swear to God? What did Matt Patricia and Joe Judge show you to be like, oh, we can call it offense? Like, you're starting to get in the Los Angeles Lakers territory where it's like, hey, nobody outside of the family. Like, yeah. Bill Belichick, his sons are on the coaching staff. Right, like his sons, like he got
doing a hell of a job on the defensive side.
And I don't know how much of that is the sons or Gerard Mayo, because I think he's one of the coaches too. But none of them gonna get the credit because we already know Bill called the defense.
It's true. Moving on from this game, let's talk about the Detroit Lions as they squandered a big-time opportunity to jump into the playoff standings as they fall to the Carolina Panthers 37-23 as they could not stop the run if they wanted to. Carolina ran the ball 43 times for 320 yards for 3 touchdowns. Jared Goff did have a good game here as he's been really good this season. 25, 42, 355, 3 touchdowns. He also led them in rushing, which is, all right. Shane Zylstra caught all 3, a hat trick of touchdowns for Shane Zylstra. And Sam Darnold on the other side, 15-22, 250 and 1 touchdown. DJ Moore had the lone receiving touchdown for the Carolina Panthers as they basically won this game wire to wire.
Yeah, I like Dan Campbell. He takes that L. He walks to the middle of the field. He shakes Steve Wilkes' hands. He says, "Great job. You kicked our ass." What is that?
Hey, they gave up 320 yards on the ground. I mean,
no, I'm saying
you got to look at that, and you got to look at yourself in the mirror after that.
Yeah,
stopping the run.
I wasn't saying what is that to that. I'm like, it was a lot of background was going on.
Yeah, I muted Christian's mic.
Like, yeah, he walked to the middle of the field and said, "Hey, nice job, you kicked our ass." And that's all. That's all Dan Campbell really could do because that's exactly what they did. That was a situation that was a situation. That was a situation where Steve Wilkes could have walked across the field, gave the Lions their playbook, and say, "Hey, yo, this is what we finna run, when we finna run it, and what situation we gonna run it in, and ain't nothing you can do about it." Like, that's exactly what happened. And Izzy Davey, I know the old phrase. What's the Lions gonna lion?
They had a big time opportunity here. Really squandered an opportunity for Detroit. For Carolina, this is a big win for them because they're still in the thick of it for the NFC South. If they win out, they win the division. Could be probably the worst record-wise team to ever win a division. But all you gotta do is get in the dance and see how things go from there. Steve Wilkes has also probably done enough to not take the interim title away. I think he will be. I think he'll get this job if they make the playoffs.
I don't know, man. I don't think I would want to work under Dave Tepper. He don't seem like the.
He don't seem like the type you want to work for.
No, like because they're 6-9 right now because like there was no expectation. There was none
under Matt Rule.
There was none.
Sam Darnold has played super consistent this last 3 weeks. The defense has looked good. And he ran 320 yards.
They're not really asking him to do a lot. Like, they're asking him basically to hand the ball off and not make mistakes.
But you got to ask yourself this. Like,
which is kind of hard for him, right, David? To not make mistakes because he's turnover prone like hell.
No, but you got.
Which is why he keeps getting benched.
You got to ask yourself this: like, where would they be had he not had that high ankle sprain that kept him out all that time?
Yeah, maybe.
Right? Like,
yeah,
it's a fair question. It's a fair question because it's like if it's not Baker, PJ Walker, back to PJ Walker, back to Baker. If they have that consistent quarterback play, ain't no telling where they'd be. They might be in the Super Bowl. They might be worse. I don't know.
I think Baker's in the offense right now that no expectations, right? And so when you look at when a lot of guys are like, damn, well, why couldn't Steve Wilkes do this with Baker? I think Baker's a guy that like literally needs all the pieces to the like in LA, there's no expectation, so he's gonna go out there and play freely. He had a hell of a game this past weekend. But when we look at like Sam Darnold, I just think that he's showing up issues. He's not asked to do a lot. You have two really good bell cow running backs. I mean, and then the defense has played really well down the stretch here in the second half. So when I look at Carolina, I mean, I still think that New Orleans and Tampa will win this division, but I got to give Carolina credit for playing well. And Steve Wilkes does deserve another shot at being the head coach, David, because of what happened in Arizona was not.
That was trash. That was trash.
Yes, I was gonna say foul. I was gonna say it was BS, but that was trash after one season. That guy deserves to have another shot at being the head coach in the league.
Yeah. I like how Carolina was able to just run that football. They ran it and they ran it and they ran it, and the Lions couldn't stop it. It's almost like the Lions knew the run was coming and couldn't do anything to really load the box up and clog up any of those lanes. And whoever would have thought the Carolina Panthers would be competing for the NFC South? Yeah, after firing Matt Rule, it really hasn't been a good tenure down there in Carolina the last couple of years, and I think you said it best, David. They win these last two games, they win the division.
Yep.
Speaking
of the NFC South, let's talk about another team in the NFC South. We got the Atlanta Falcons, kind of doing a rapid fire here a little bit faster as we rip through some of these games. Atlanta Falcons going into Baltimore and falling 17-9 to the Ravens. Desmond Ridder, another kind of struggle game here, 22 of 33, no touchdowns, no picks. Tyler Algier, the darling from the week before, 18 carries for 74 yards. Drake London, leading receiver for the Atlanta Falcons. Tyler Huntley bounced back a little bit in this game from what was a really poor performance the week before. 9 of 17 and a touchdown. Gus Edwards, their whole running game was pretty good here. 34 carries for 144 yards and 5.4 yards a carry. Demarcus Robinson had the lone receiving touchdown. Ravens, they're just better than the Falcons. It's just pure.
Yeah, well, Desmond Ridder played better this week than he did the week before. And I guess you can say that.
Yeah, he did. Nothing to say here. That defense of the Ravens just held up. Even there was a couple times the Falcons were driving, and that defense held it together. You just gotta win one of these two games, and you feel comfortable. Then you get Lamar back, and I think you guys can make a run with it. Especially with the running game coming back, David. Right?
Yeah.
J.K. Dobbins, those guys kind of forming together. Baltimore in the playoffs could be scary playing good defense like this.
TJ.
Yeah, as if the playoffs were to start today, they'd be the 5 seed. And is it just like the NBA, like 4 play 5? Is that how that go?
Yep.
So they would go to Jacksonville.
Yep.
They would have that rematch against the Jags. So you just hope Lamar is healthy for that. Again, like it's not an issue of the Ravens being good. It's just an issue of the weapons that they're putting around Lamar Jackson. And they are so lucky Lamar Jackson decided not to hold out for his money and be like, I'm not playing at all, and I'm not playing on the franchise tag, because I won an MVP, and y'all still don't know, like y'all still got questions about what to pay me. And Marcus, what's his name? Oh my God. Be on first, Swagoo. He be on first take. He was like, let another team offer Lamar Jackson the bag.
I can see a scenario where he ends up in Miami if Tua continues to struggle.
Man, oh my gosh.
Let another team offer Lamar Jackson the bag.
Oh my gosh, Tua. Oh my gosh, David. Tua. Oh.
We'll get to it.
We'll get to it. Christian.
Yeah, I mean, Atlanta fought. You knew they were going to be done. They have a lot of question marks. And then Baltimore, I'm still trying to figure them out, because I look at the Ravens and I just never know what team is going to show up, because you never know if they're going to hold the lead. Like, to be honest with you, the last couple of times when I've watched them, I've honestly thought they were going to blow the lead. They've done it, 4 or 5 times this year. They got a big game coming up, but they were able to clinch a playoff spot this weekend.
Yep. Moving on from this game, let's swing into the AFC South, where Tennessee, without Ryan Tannehill, fell to the Houston Texans 19-14. Davis Mills, 17-28, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Royce Freeman got the start at running back for the Houston Texans, 60-32. Philip Dorsett, leading receiver, and Brandon Cooks returned, got a touchdown in this game. Malik Willis, to say he struggled in this game would probably be an understatement. 14-23, 99 yards and 2 picks. Derrick Henry, 23 carries for 126 yards. Malik Willis also had 1 on the ground. This is the team now. When you see what they look like without Ryan Tannehill, this is just not a good Tennessee Titan team without him. And I know they're not that good with him, but
let me ask you guys the question. Just out of this small sample size of Malik Willis, do you guys like say, hey, we're actually gonna look for another franchise quarterback other than Malik Willis?
I would, yeah. I think what teacher just said. I think I would think about trading for Jordan Love.
Yeah, I would trade for Jordan Love.
I can see that. Yeah, Tennessee's a mess because
I make that call right now today.
Yeah, you got it.
Well, the trade deadline's already expired. So
that's not the point, David. But I call them right now because Jordan Love is 25. He's going into his 4th year of not playing. He wants to play. Aaron Rodgers ain't going away no time soon. He's made that abundantly clear. So it's like, all right, what do you want?
And judging off that last game, TJ, he didn't look so bad. Like, getting some reps out there.
Yeah, he came in at garbage time and played against a prevent defense. You're supposed to look good.
Well, he is.
To an extent, yes.
He is right. But like, nonetheless, I'd rather go with that because I'm not fit. Like, I still got this man in the backfield who can still give me 2,000 on the ground, on a good day, in a good year. I can still get 15 to 2,000 from him.
Hey, and if a down year is being second in the league in rushing,
right?
For Derrick Henry,
a down year for him is like 12 to 1,400. That's a down year, bro.
He's on pace to get 15, 16 this year still.
That's a down year, right?
That's a down year.
Come on, man. Yeah, I trade for Jordan Love.
Yeah, right. 14-29, TJ.
I mean, but in Malik Willis's defense, I mean, you look at this wide receiving core and the tight end room. Frankly, it's just not a lot there. I mean, the rookie they traded for, they never should have traded away AJ Brown. Like, you hope to get when you draft a wide receiver in the first round. When you draft a wide receiver in the first round, you hope it turns into AJ Brown. You should have paid him.
I'm gonna say this about Malik Willis, right? Just from his days at Liberty, he would hold the ball a little too long, right? And as we know,
because he could afford to do that.
He could afford to do that, right? And he hold the ball too long, and his athleticism to get past a lot of the opponents that they're facing in college, right? But when you go to the pro level, everything's coming at you fast. And when he has a chance, he has to react quickly. He's just not catching up to the speed of the game. And I think it's a transition that some guys cannot do coming from college to the pros. So
we just saw Zach Wilson struggle with that too. Christian.
This is Tennessee, right?
Correct.
Yeah, they're done. Look, there's no other way to put it. I mean, they haven't won a game since they beat Green Bay, and I mean, it's all gone downhill from there. Like, I mean,
they cooked, stick a fork in them.
Yeah, they're cooked. I mean, outside of Derrick Henry, they don't have a receiver. What else? What else is there to say?
Cornerback play hasn't been particularly good this season.
They played Jacksonville end of the season, last game of the season. They're both 7-8 right now. I mean,
might be
a playoff game. It's gonna be for the division.
I'm wasting time here, bro. Like, I'm wasting one of the best running backs of a generation. I'm wasting him, and I'm wasting a top 5 coach. Say what you want about it, but Mike Vrabel is a top 5 coach.
Moving on from that game, let's talk about the Washington Commanders who went into Levi Stadium and got Brock Purdy'd 37-20 as Tyler, give me a 6-pack of Heineke. Was good in this game, but a little bit erratic, a little bit inefficient. 13 of 18, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Carson Wentz came in and threw a touchdown later in the game. They literally couldn't get the running game going. 33 carries for 79 yards, 2.4 yards a carry in this game. Scary Terry, Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuel all had receiving touchdowns in this game. But San Francisco put up 37 points. Brock Purdy, 15 to 22, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Ray McLeod, Chris McCaffrey all had rushing touchdowns. And George freaking Kittle could not be guarded by the Washington Commanders, had 2 touchdowns in this game as he's really bounced back down the stretch here.
Speaking of starting fresh for the new season, why was Chase Young playing that? Yeah, why was he playing?
I mean,
there's 3 games left.
I mean, but they still have a chance to make the playoffs. I mean,
there's 3 games left. You can make the playoffs without Chase Young. You're in the race already.
I have no issue with him wanting to come back.
I have a big issue with him because like now you're putting him in a situation where he basically has to be Superman, and that's not fair to him because you've been getting it done pretty much. You've been getting it done all season without him. You've been in the playoff race without him. So like
they're getting to the point where if they're going to try to really they got to push everything to the middle. Like if Chase Young gives them a best chance to win football games, they need to play him.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. No, I mean I get your reasoning, but no.
Yeah, I mean, just San Francisco is arguably the hottest team in the NFL right now. They just continue to win big games. Brock Purdy, this moment does not look too big for him.
Was this Brock Purdy's first interception since he's been in? Like this is his first.
No. He threw one against Miami.
He did throw one. Yeah, he threw one against Miami, but San Francisco wasn't letting their foot off the gas right now. They're playing really good.
I've been. He's thrown 3 picks.
I think he's thrown one in every game he's played. Actually, now that I think about it.
Well, the one man, Tampa got called back, right?
I don't know.
Brock Purdy looks seasoned, man. He looks seasoned.
Well, I mean, that's like Kyle Shanahan offense. I mean, you rely on the running game. You don't ask him to make too much. Ask him to make the big mistake, and you have weapons on the outside. They've been playing well.
You got the best defense in the league right behind you.
Yep.
He's throwing against Kansas City. There you go. Kansas City, then Miami, and then Washington. Yeah. Okay.
Well, let me ask you guys something here. The 49ers, are they a favorite or one of the favorites to win the NFC, even with Brock Purdy?
I wouldn't want to play the 49ers, bro. I wouldn't want to.
Even with Brock Purdy?
No, yeah, I think they're built to win.
It's not even Brock Purdy, bro. Like that defense, that defense is just scary, bro. Like everybody flies to the ball. What's his name? Bosa got 17.5 sacks, so he gonna win DPOY. All right, like it's just so much firepower on their defense. They can win the game off their defense alone, bro.
I keep saying this is a team I don't want to see.
I wouldn't want to face them.
And they have a team philosophy that travels. Like no matter what city whatever city they're in, they're a run first team. That stuff travels in playoffs.
Yeah, bro, like
those are the playoff teams that win games.
They're saving grace in Seattle fall. Everybody's saving grace in Seattle falling apart because I would not want to be one of those teams, one of those division winners, and have to play Seattle and play San Fran in the wild card round.
If Brock Purdy wins the Super Bowl, it's kind of hard for me to go away from him back to like Trey Lance or even Jimmy G.
Let's pump the brakes here a little bit on the winning.
I'm just saying.
Moving on from this game, let's talk about the Philadelphia Eagles going into Dallas, losing that game 40-34, which was probably the best game of the weekend. Gardner Minshew got the start, 24-40, 355, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. He also had a rushing touchdown in this game. Devontae Smith caught both receiving touchdowns for the Eagles. On the other side of this, Dak Prescott, 27-35, 347, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. He really bounced back from that pick 6 early in the game. Basically was no mistakes, stake-free through the rest of it. Zeke Elliott, 16-55 and a touchdown. CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup had the receiving touchdowns for the Dallas Cowboys as they beat Gardner Minshew and Minshew Mania and the Philadelphia.
Man, Cowboys fans oh my God, they are the most annoying fans on planet.
Have you met Packer fans?
Have you met?
Cowboys fans take the cake.
Packer fans are just as bad, dude. Come on.
Glass house.
No. I think Cowboys fans take the cake. I mean, Come on,
Glass house
man.
nigga.
I mean, I understand. Oh, man, we beat the Eagles. We're better than the Eagles. But you beat the
No,
Eagles
you're
with
not,
Gardner Minshew. You're not better than the Eagles.
bro.
You couldn't beat them with Jalen
It's one
Hurts.
to one. It's 1-1. It's 1-1. Eagles beat them with their backup. Dallas, you beat them with their backup. It's 1-1. Nobody has room to talk about who's better than who because neither defense faced, like neither team faced the other team's starting quarterback at the same time. Like it wasn't Dak versus Jalen Hurts. It was Dak versus Gardner Minshew. It was Hurts versus Cooper Rush. Not really something to be like pay-per-view. Like it wasn't that. Wasn't that at all.
Man,
But nonetheless,
But you got Cowboys fans out here though, TJ, that were saying yesterday, "Oh, see, I told you that the Cowboys were better than the Eagles." Like,
but
what?
but
No, that
Gardner
don't make no sense.
Gardner Minshew put like 34 points, bro. Like they still scored 34 points on you.
Yeah. I mean, they were. I mean, if they could have driven and won this game.
Easily.
They easily could have won this game.
Like you gave up 355 yards passing. Hey, once again, I was telling folks on Twitter. I'm like, yo, everybody wants to laugh at I'm like, Gardner Minshew's not a bum.
No,
But he can play.
Dude can play. I almost had to
Dude
buy
can
one of
play.
his jerseys.
You almost had. Oh, you was like 200-300 yards away from buying the Gardner Minshew jersey, bro.
It was further than that.
This is one of the best games I've seen all year because it looked like Philly was about to run away with things. And to be honest, this was the best I think I've seen Dak Prescott look all year long because after that interception, he bounced back and he bounced back nicely. I know Dallas really couldn't get the running game going because it's tough to run the ball on the Eagles at times. I mean, I know they've been vulnerable in certain aspects when it comes to stopping the run, but I like the way Dallas played because every time Philly threw a punch, Dallas threw one back. Give Gardner Minshew credit. He came in and did his best. I mean, Devontae Smith made one of the best catches I think I've seen all year.
You can clearly see where they missed Jalen Hurts because they tried to run the read option, and Gardner Minshew had a few moments where had he kept it, like he could have got some yards out of it, but they kept crashing on the handoff because they already knew, like, all right, Gardner Minshew's no real threat to pull the ball and run, but like he had about 3 or 4 where he like, damn, he should have kept it. He should have kept it because he would have got something.
I think where Dallas is like in Dallas Nation, where a lot of their fans, everybody's like, oh yeah, Dallas may be better than Philly. I mean, they put up 40 points against that defense, and all week, like even previous all season, they've been hearing that Philly's going to be able to get after the quarterback. Dak's not going to be able to do anything to them. So CD Lamb's ineffective versus them. Well, he cooked them for 120 and a touchdown.
Yeah.
2 touchdowns.
Dak got sacked 6 times.
Yeah, and so that would
go ahead.
No, I'm saying so that would be the reason why Dallas fans are probably like, oh, I mean, we're better than Philly, because we put 40 points on their defense, and no,
real talk, like this game was lost on like because Dallas seized all the momentum, bro. Like you gave up a 3rd and 30. You gave up a 3rd and 30.
And Gardner Minshew
to T.Y. Hilton, the guy who just was like he's been on the team for like 2 weeks and he gets a bomb.
T.Y. man, yeah, no, man. Hey, look, hey, man.
Moving on to from this game, let's talk about the Saturday night nightcap. Las Vegas Raiders going into Pittsburgh and falling 13-10 to the Steelers on Franco Harris night. May he rest in peace. Thoughts and prayers to his family. Moving through the game action, Derek Carr struggled in this game through 3 interceptions. Josh Jacobs also struggled in this game, 15-44. Hunter Renfrow had the lone receiving touchdown for the Raiders as Devontae Adams also struggled in this game. Kenny Pickett, a little bit up and down here for him, 26-39, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Najee Harris, 16 carries, 53 yards. Pat Freiermuth, leading receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And George Pickens caught the touchdown for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
This was one that the Steelers really wanted, considering what happened with Franco Harris passing, and then this being the 50th anniversary when the Immaculate Reception took place. Yeah, like there was no way that they could let this one slip, and I thought they were going right. I mean, I'll say this: the Steelers didn't look great for the first 3 quarters of the game, but they were able to find a way. And I like what Kenny Pickett said at the end of the game. Felt like Franco Harris was with us. And they keep their slim playoff chances alive too, like we always say.
And they can still have a winning, record. So
I actually,
I
you know
was just
what?
about to say
I actually like the Steelers' playoff chances. Actually, the sneaking, the way Miami's playing, falling down out of New England, New York, and Tennessee. You know, pretty much they all have the same. New England, New York, Tennessee, and Pittsburgh all have the same record. I like Pittsburgh out of those 4 teams. You know, to actually win down the stretch to get into the playoffs. If Miami kind of falters here, coming down the stretch.
I don't, but you know, it's nice that you think that way.
No, I mean, if you look at what Pittsburgh plays, good D. Najee Harris is running the ball hard down the stretch. Kenny Pickett, I trust Kenny Pickett over any quarterback situation New York has, over Tennessee, and I can trust them over New England because I know what their offensive identity is, other than New England's. And I mean, they're getting after the quarterback just as ferocious as they are. So
true, and I mean, since T.J. Watt came back, I mean, they've been on a little bit of a tear here.
Yeah. I mean, you see the difference TJ makes. I mean, he's there. He's the motor, I think, that makes that entire defense go. I mean, look, I thought this was going to be kind of like growing pains for the Steelers this year, but they play hard. It's a reflection of coaching.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Tomlin is probably one of the best coaches in the NFL.
But
yeah, and the
100%.
Raiders, you really let the situation slip away. I mean, this is a really good opportunity to get back into the playoff picture, and you just kind of squandered it away. It's kind of been the story of the Raiders this season.
I ain't got nothing to say. Go ahead.
Moving on to Sunday. By the way, Sunday, none of these games were particularly entertaining. The Bronco game actually put me to sleep. And then I didn't even bother. I was so tired. I didn't even bother watching the other game on Sunday. But first game was actually fairly entertaining. Green Bay Packers going into Miami, beating the Dolphins 26-20. Aaron Rodgers 24-38. 1 touchdown, 1 pick. And A.J. Dillon rushing touchdown for him, and Mercedes Lewis, ageless wonder, dusted him off for another touchdown for him. Tua Tagovailoa basically cost the Miami Dolphins this game, essentially responsible for 3 turnovers, 3 picks, 16 of 25,
3 in a row.
Touchdown. Yeah, 3 in a row.
3 in a row down the stretch, the last 3 drives.
Jeff Wilson Jr. had a rushing touchdown in this game. Jalen Waddle had the lone receiving touchdown for this game. He also had 143 yards receiving. Tyreek Hill punched in at 103, as this was by far the best game on Sunday.
Yeah. I know Izzy gonna go on talking about what the Packers did and whatnot.
No.
Hold on. Let's be honest. Tua, can they finally kill the Tua Herbert conversation? Because first off, I always had the conversation to begin with. Second of all, yeah. Like it's. I look back and I'm like, yep, that's exactly why Brian Flores kept pulling them for Ryan Fitzpatrick. Yep, that right there. That's exactly why. You threw 3 horrible picks, bro. Horrible picks. Packer defenders didn't even have to. They barely had to move for the ball. They literally let the ball come to them. They didn't have to do nothing. They were terrible. Every pass you threw was super high, so your defenders, like your receivers, had to jump over and basically go get it. And I don't. Now he back in concussion protocol.
He is. His season's probably over.
So it's like, man.
Yeah. Got to give Green Bay credit. You know, they were another team that I think everybody kind of threw the towel in on now. But, you know, it's been a nice big 3 of their offensive weapons outside of Aaron Rodgers that's really stepped up. That's Aaron Jones, that's A.J. Dillon, and there's Christian Watson. And he, you know, at this point, since the Packers don't have the depth at receiver like we're accustomed to seeing, this is the way they're going to have to play. They took care of business. And I'm kind of surprised at Miami because they didn't run the ball. Like, you saw how they ran the ball last week against the Buffalo Bills. Like, why didn't they do that against a team that really struggles to stop the run?
It's true.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no! I was just gonna let you guys go. No, man. Look, the Packers really needed this game. A lot of people wrote them off. When they started out, what was it?
They started out the season 4-8.
They started 4-8 after
4-8. Started out 4-8. So when they have to win these last two games, but this game was, people thought that they were going to go into Miami and lose, and it kind of looked like Miami, they couldn't miss, right? Tua to Jalen Waddle, that long 80-something yard touchdown, running catch and scamper. Tyreek Hill looked like he was doing some damage to them. They couldn't, keep up when they both had over 100 yards, but they did most of that damage in the first, 2.5 quarters. Really, I'm being generous when I say 2.5 quarters, because it was all Green Bay in the second half. Christian Watson out with a hip injury. That's going to be big, for the next game. So he's day to day. But I like the trust that he's given. The Aaron Rodgers has grown with Christian Watson. Romeo Doubs coming back. Alan Lazard right?
That's what makes that situation so frustrating, because he doesn't go to training camp, he don't go to OTAs, he goes to Peru to get high, and then you wonder why. And then you wonder why the offense sputters and struggles for 2 months, because you're not there to develop a rapport with these young dudes that they don't know your hand signals, they don't know your cadences, they don't know none of that, and you get mad at them for not being in the right spot and right anything, but it's on you to get them up to speed. But no, you want to go get high on a drug that's literally illegal in all 50 states of the United States of America and Peru. That's what makes this situation about Green Bay so frustrating, and that's why people say Aaron Rodgers is a bad mentor, bad leader, all this other stuff, because why are you on the beaches in Peru getting high when you supposed to be developing the rapport with these young dudes?
Okay, but I hear you. I wish he was building trust with them in preseason too. But at least I like it right now. I think coming
That's
down
not the no, but that right now, you can like it right now, but look at you. Like, every game is basically win now. Every game is win now. You got to win out every game to even get into the conversation. When all he had to do was develop that from the jump.
But you're
probably not even in this situation.
There's a lot wrong with this season, though, TJ. Our defense isn't as good as what we thought it was. Is what I thought it was.
Yeah, whatever happened to the no-fly zone?
No-fly zone. No, but I mean, everybody thought that this was a top 5 defense, and they played nothing like a top 5 defense. They had the 26th, worst, in sacks. So 26 in sacks. They don't get after the quarterback well. They don't have no depth at the pass rusher position. They give up a lot of yards. They were banged up pretty much in all three, levels of their defense. Pretty much at different times of the year. So the defense just was underperforming, was banged up. And along with having a horrible, not having any, trust or any, between the wide receivers and Aaron Rodgers, between having anything between both of those.
And not to mention, this offensive line's been patchwork for most of the season as you try to get those guys healthy. It's not surprising that the offensive line starts to get healthy. You guys start to play a lot better.
But Tua throwing those 3 picks, I'm thinking, look, hey, you know what, David? I think Tua must have thought. First of all, one thing, it's hard. I had him starting in the fantasy in the second round of fantasy. I'm sorry, second round of fantasy, and I'm going for the Packers. So I'm happy that the Packers won, but I'm so shook that Tua looked this bad. He threw 2 picks. I'm like, hey, I think he might have took the spread. for the Packers.
Moving on from this game, let's talk about the blowout.
He was smoking good Miami Vice rocks, bro.
I don't know what he was doing, TJ.
Moving on from this game, let's talk about the game that cost Nathaniel Hackett his job as the Denver Broncos win to SoFi Stadium and got beat down 51-14. The Rams did not punt once in this game, not one time. Russell Wilson, 50-27, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, including a pick 6.
There were games last season where Stafford was healthy, Kupp was healthy, run game was on point, and they punted. There were moments last season where they had all their offensive weapons and they punted. They had games where they punted. You mean to tell me a Rams team with Baker Mayfield fresh off the boat? No Cooper Kupp.
No punts for their punter, Riley Dixon. Tyler Higbee, 2 touchdowns in this game. Cam Akers had 3 on the ground. This game basically cost Nathaniel Hackett his job. They should have just left him in LA and fired him Herb Edwards style right out there on the field. I don't know what to say. Denver, Nathaniel Hackett clearly wasn't ready for this kind of responsibility, this kind of job, and he paid the price for it. I'll be shocked if he gets another head coaching job ever again.
It's not bad. It's not a good day at the office when your quarterback that you paid $250 million to had a GPA for a QBR. He had a 3.6 QBR. All right, now if this is school, that's great because that's a.
They were talking about this game as this was Baker Mayfield's best game as a pro. Okay.
I mean, he only threw 4 incompletions the whole game.
Dude, you absolutely have to get canned after letting Baker Mayfield, who barely had the playbook for 2.5 weeks, maybe even that, and let him cook you like this. I mean, it was so simple to the point where I'm calling out plays. I'm like, I know exactly what the Rams gonna do. They about to run with Akers. They about to throw this out to Higbee. They about to do a end around here with Van Jefferson. Come on.
And that's another thing. There were games last season where they had the full arsenal and they didn't even come close to dropping 51 on anybody.
This is crazy. So for the Broncos, and it was drive after drive after drive. At first I thought, okay, the offense. First of all, Russell Wilson. I don't know what happened this year, but look, the first 2 out of 3 drive. I mean, I don't even know what this stuff is. I don't know what he's doing out there. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if it's lack of confidence or what. But that defense, I thought I was blaming Russell Wilson at first, man. He gave him like too good of field position. But then the defense just stop caring. They stop caring. They said, you know what?
Wouldn't you?
Huh?
You lose time possession by 13 minutes. You turn it over 4 times. You give up I'm not yeah.
I would have been like David. I would have been like, you know what? I've been carrying this damn team. We've been keeping this damn team in games all season. I'm just not gonna try. I'm not gonna try today.
I'll be honest with you guys. I only saw
I saw like 2 plays.
Like 2 seconds of this game. And when I did, I saw that the Rams were up by
I shut it off in the third quarter. Look, I watched this game. I had to watch this game. You know why? Mm-hmm. Fantasy purposes, right? Check this out, guys. This is how bad Denver's defense played. They had the worst performance all season, and I started them in a fantasy league in the playoffs where it was to go to the championship. They gave me like -4 points. It was their worst performance all season. That's how bad this game was.
Man, I'll say this though. I think the writing was on the wall to see Nathaniel Hackett and him get fired. I mean, David's been pretty much kind of calling
since week 1.
I mean, I'll say this. I knew that it was going to kind of be a long season for Denver. after that week 1 game in Seattle, you take the ball out your quarterback's hands and try to go for a 64-yard field goal. And I don't think that kick was even close.
No, it wasn't. You're kicking a 64-yard field goal, not in Denver,
Exactly.
not in a dome. Moving on to the final game, let's talk about Sunday Night Football. Tampa Bay Buccaneers win this game in overtime, 19-16. Tom Brady, not one of his better performances, will not end up on the highlight reel when he ends up in Canton. 32 of 48, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Leonard Fournette, 20-72. Leonard Fournette also led the team in receiving yards, 9 catches for 90 yards. Rashad White had the lone receiving touchdown. On the other side, Tracy Sorley, 24 of 45, 217 and a pick. James Conner also had a rushing touchdown. Greg Dortch, leading receiver.
Mm-hmm.
This game felt like it was a day and a half.
Yeah,
Bro,
this game really did drag. He's not wrong.
Dragged.
I watched the first quarter of this game and I was like, nah, I'm going to bed.
No. See, that's the reason, because the offense there was nothing on both sides, and it felt like the game was a lot longer than what it actually was. Tampa Bay. I'm glad they decided to start waking up like middle to the fourth quarter. If they would have played like that all game long, and Tom Brady missed some throws. I mean, he missed that clear touchdown throw to Julio Jones. He missed a couple. He missed missed a few of them. Missed one of Mike Evans as well. So, it's a lot on Tom. I think just the timing's off, like they said. All season been having to get rid of the football a lot faster than he's used to. Not on those 2 throws, he really didn't need to. I think if they would have played like this, if they would have played like how they did those last 2 drives, this game would have been, not even close. And I think they have the potential to do that. They just don't have their timing offensively.
I think it's more about this offensive line. I think the offensive line has been patchwork since the beginning of the season. They haven't had anybody they thought they were going to have. It's just this is just a Tampa Bay. This is just not a good football team, at least on the offense.
No, they're not. And man, J.J. Watt looked like Houston J.J. Watt at times. Like, I probably heard his name about 4 or 5 times during that game. I give Arizona credit. They played Tampa tough, and Brady, I don't know. Like every time he throws the ball, it just seems to be very shaky. You see what I'm saying? Like very, 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 very shaky. Their defense played well. This is actually the best I've seen their defense play in quite some time. But I don't.
They are going up against a 3rd-string quarterback.
Yeah. But still, you handle business when you're supposed to. That's the point I'm making. And they got back. I don't like the fact that Brady threw the ball. What you said, 48 times?
Yeah, 48 times.
Yeah, that was way too much.
Times,
yeah, that's way too much for him. And I was telling somebody the other day, you're not going to win with him throwing the ball a certain amount of times. Maybe 35 at the most. That might even be too much.
You know what's crazy? They ran the football pretty well. I mean,
yeah, they did.
Rashad White, we had 5 yards of pop. I mean, I felt like they were running the football well with him. They were running the football well with Leonard Fournette. They're running the football well. They ran it 30 times. I mean, probably I think if you ran it a little bit more, I mean, maybe you get more consistency. But Tom just got to make those throws. I mean, he missed 2 or 3 throws that, I mean, back in the day, those are touchdowns.
I mean, and where has Mike Evans been? Where has Mike Evans been down the stretch here? Like he's just basically been non-existent, invisible.
Well, he's getting the same coverage, single high, but it seems like Chris Godwin. I mean, since he works those in between those routes out the slot, and he's working like across the middle, it's like Tom is more comfortable with him this year because he's just not putting it together on those deep throws, man. Outside deep throws to Mike Evans or whoever.
It's been like that pretty much this whole season. It's hard to watch a Tampa Bay Buccaneers game, bro. Like it's so hard. It's so slow. Like it's like pulling teeth. It's definitely giving. All right, Tom. Hey, bro. You ain't got nothing else to prove to nobody, man. Just pack it, please, for the love of God, while you still can walk off the field under your own power and your mind is still your own. Pack it up and go home.
So I'll ask you guys this. Let's say Tampa does win.
Until he's 50.
Look, let's see. Let's say Tampa does win the division. Do you guys see them winning a playoff game or no?
No,
Man,
No.
you know what? You know what? I
do think they could beat Dallas, but
I do think they'll have a home game against Dallas.
correct.
Right.
I would say this. Look, anything's possible with Tom Brady.
It is.
I made a living off not betting on Tom Brady.
Anything's possible. When you get them in the playoffs, that will be just the time for that team to start playing like how they should be. You still have Mike Evans. You still have Chris Godwin. I mean, you still have Leonard Fournette. You add Rashad White now to the mix. You know, anything can happen with those weapons. And I think defensively, they start playing well. I think they can beat a Dallas in the playoffs. And if they have to play, say, Green Bay beats Minnesota or something like that, right?
Oh, stop
and they have to play
Green Bay's not making the playoffs.
No, I'm just saying. The Lions. I mean, come on, man. Come on. I just think Tampa
but yeah, I think things could get interesting if Tampa Bay makes the. I think
you needed OT.
Division.
Like, this is the state of the Buccaneers. You needed OT to beat a team down in the third string quarterback.
But yeah, that's been our Week 16 recap so far. Monday Night Football is happening right now, so go ahead and check out that stuff. We'll be back here tomorrow breaking down Monday Night Football, and then we're going to talk about week number 17. I've been David Huppman. Right there is Israel Vera, Christian Simpson, TJ Hopkins. Gentlemen, what do we do here at the Prime, my friends?
We bring the heat.
Bring the heat.
We bring the heat. It's supposed to be 50 degrees by this weekend.
Yes, sir.
There we go.
So you guys enjoy yourselves. We'll be back here tomorrow. You all have a good night. Stay safe out there.
Yeah.